Is everyone seeing the slides? Hello, are you seeing the slides? Let me know, please.
Yes, Miss, I'm seeing the slide.
Yes, Miss Martha, thank you.
If at any time you're not seeing it, just let us know, please. Thank you. All right, Ms. Fairclough will now begin the presentation. I'll hand over to her. Okay.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So I'm Karen Fairclough. I'm one of the regional extension officer assigned to the National Fisheries Authority. And today I'll be giving you an introduction to aquaponics. Okay. Are you seeing my slide? Hello? Is everyone seeing the slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Miss.
All right, so I'll just go into it. So the presentation outline will look at what is aquaponics and why aquaponics. Why aquaponics, current adaptable techniques. We're looking at water quality, benefits of aquaponics, and I give you economical viability using one plant and one fish. Okay. All right, let's move on. So what is aquaponics? So aquaponics is a symbiotic ecosystem that combines two established technology. So we combine aquaculture and we also combine hydroponics, hence aquaponics. So if you look at them separate, aquaculture is a growing of aquatic life, and we look at fish, crayfish, shrimp. Some people include snail also. And if you look at hydroponics, it's the growing of plant in sand, gravel, liquid, or other media, but it cannot be in soil. All right, so this is a picture of our aquaponics unit. So with the aquaponics, we have the plant and they are growing in a substrate, like probably the water or the marl or the gravel. And you have the fish tank. Some aquaponics, they can be done indoors. Some of them can use additional component where they grow them in shade also. So why aquaponics? So aquaponics, for one, it produces its own fertilizer from fish waste, right? And the system, it can be constructed and designed to fit in available spaces. So if you want to put it in your backyard, you can put it in your backyard. If you want to put it at a school, it can be done at a school. So it is designed to fit in available space. And aquaponics, it uses less water than traditional farm. So if you compare aquaponics system with a farm system, it's a water that is constantly recirculating. So you don't really need to put a lot of water in the system. Whereas a traditional farm, you have to keep on, if the plant need water, you have to water the plants, stuff like that. It uses less energy, so you don't need to employ anyone to come with a tractor to plow your land or to clear your land or anything like that. It does not require soil, hence you have fewer need to go out there and to remove weed from your system or weed from the plant surface area. So also the aquaponics system, it produces fruits, I'm just sharing my slide with someone else. All right, so the aquaponics system, it produces fruits and vegetables primarily and fish secondary. So the fish will be the secondary source of income, and the fruits and vegetables, those are the primary source for the income, for income generation. Any question? One more time, any question? Okay, so I'll continue. All right, so we're gonna look at the, also we're gonna look at the adaptable techniques used in aquaponics. So we have one of the technique is called ebb and flow system. We have the deep water culture, or you call it DWC, and we have the nutrient flame technique, right? So there are other techniques, but these are the ones that are more used primarily. All right, so we're gonna look at them individually. So the ebb and flow system, this system has three primary components. We have the fish tank, we have the grow bed, and we have the pump. The fish tank can be made from concrete or plastic tanks. And the system consists of grow bed, and these grow bed can be of small pebbles, gravel, sand, or other alternative material, but we must stress no soil. So the ebb and flow system, it consists of a pump, and the pump run lines from the fish tank to the watering system. And the pump on the water system ensures that the plant ensure that water is delivered to the tank, and the plant are fed nutrients-rich water. So over here, we're just showing some diagram of it. So you can just look. And at the bottom, you realize we have the fish tank, we have the grow bed, the plant. So the fish tank supply the grow bed with the nutrients water, then that move the plant to take this water, and the plant clean the water and they send it back to the fish tank. So it's a research system where everything exists in the same environment and each area benefit. So the plant benefit from the fish tank and the fish tank benefit from the plant. So both are helping each other. Everyone still seeing my slide? So forgive me, I have to be stopping to share the slide over and over, because each time someone come on, I have to share the slide. So everyone seen the slide, right?
Yes, we are.
Okay. So we'll move on to the other system. So the next system is the deep water culture, otherwise called the DWC. And with this system, they have floating raft. The floating raft, they are placed on top of the fish tank. And the raft are constructed from styrofoam or other lightweight material lined with foams. The plant are directly exposed to the nutrient-rich oxygen water from the fish tank. So again, the plant in the floating raft, they are placed on top of the fish tank, so they don't need any pipe or anything like that. So the root will get the nutrients from the water. So the next point is the plant root the plant are easily harvested since the root, they are submerged in the water and not in the soil. So in this system, when they're harvesting the plant, they will just pull it from the raft, and then to preserve the plant, they will just wrap the root around, like for instance, if it's a lettuce, the root, they will just wrap it around the stem of the lettuce to preserve it so that it lasts longer and sell it to the consumer. So I'm going to the next slide. The other system is a nutrient film technique. And for this technique, they use horizontal pipe. And these are usually PVC pipe. And what they do, they cut holes in the PVC pipe and they put the plants inside of those, or the seedling, and the plants are allowed to grow in the hole of the PVC pipe, where they utilize the nutrient-rich water coming from the fish tank. As the plant consumes the nutrient-rich water, they begin to develop root system inside the pipe. And note that the plant root system filter the water before it go back to the fish tank or return to the fish tank. So the plant, they will take out the nutrients and the clean water will be going back to the fish tank. So know that we speak of the 3 techniques. Do you want to have any form of discussion about it? Anyone? So I'm opening the floor. Hello? Anybody want to talk about the 3 systems that I mentioned about them? Come on, man. Is that me alone? A stalker.
Ms. Fairclough, may I ask you to just repeat that particular aspect again for me? The different systems?
All right, so you remember any of the system? So we spoke of the ebb and flow system, the deep water culture, which is also called EWC, and the nutrient film. The ebb and flow system, they use media bed, right? So, and those, they use pipe, they use pump. So they have the media bed, and the pump and the fish tank. So the water is pumped from the fish tank to the media bed. The media bed, it has to be made with gravel. So you can use gravel, you can use sand, you can use small pebbles, right? And the nutrients is pumped into those systems. They are planting the gravel bed, and the plant utilize the nutrients from there. And that system timer. The other system is that we spoke of is the deep water culture. And the deep water culture, what they use, some person use styrofoam, they use raft made from styrofoam or other light material. They place the styrofoam on top of the fish tank, and the plant, they're allowed to, the roots of the plant is allowed to grow down in the fish tank, where the plant use the nutrients from the water, right? And the other system is the nutrient film technique. And for this system, they use PVC pipe. And the PVC pipes, they turn them in a way which is horizontal, and they cut holes inside of it, and they plant the seedlings or the plant inside of the PVC pipe. This now, the plant root, what the plant root does in the PVC pipe, they absorb the nutrients, remove what they need to remove, and the water will go back to the fish. All of the system in our water goes back to the fish tank. Once the nutrients or the nitrate that the plant require remove from the water, it goes back to the fish tank. Because remember, the fish need clean water to survive. All right? Do you understand now the 3 different techniques? So the ebb and flow system, otherwise called gravel bed, or media bed system, the deep water culture, and the nutrient film. All right, so I'm gonna move on.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm gonna move, okay. Sorry about that. Just a minute, please. Okay, so we're going to look at water quality because we know that water quality is a very important aspect of our aquaponics system. So with water quality being one of the most important factor for successful aquaponics is water quality. So some of this water source that is ideal for aquaponics would be the rainwater, pipe water, or pond or stream water. So with the rainwater now, the rainwater based on literature is considered to be one of the best source because they say that it has the right pH level and it is free from pathogen and disease. The pipe water, it can be used, however, it must be left to stand for a few days until chlorine dissipates. So why do we want the chlorine out of the water? Anyone know? Fish and chlorine don't mesh well. Chlorine is detrimental to fish. That is one of the reasons. So the next one is the pond water or the stream. Well, the pond water, stream water should be avoided if possible due to potential water quality issue or disease introduction. However, if this water has to be used and you have no other option, it is recommended that you treat the water with chlorine and allow it to stand for a few days until the chlorine is dissolved, right? So remember, the ideal water for aquaponics, rainwater, pipe water, pond water, or stream water can be used, but it must be treated. And if you're using pipe water, the pipe water should not go into the system directly. You should allow the pipe water to stand for a couple of days until the chlorine has dissipated from the water system. Okay. Next slide.
Would you say 3 to 5 days for the pipe water?
Pardon me?
Would you say 3 to 5 days if you're using pipe water to let it stand?
I'm not hearing you clearly. Let me see if I need to turn up now.
All right, hold on. I think
Okay, turn up you're saying?
no, I think it was a speaker that
I was saying 3 to 5 days would be a good time span to let the water stand from the pipe.
Yes, that is okay. Yeah, it's the same principle for the tilapia farm. But also, we have dechlorinator available. You could buy those from the pet store if you want to use your water immediately, because you can use those to remove chlorine from the water. So those are available at pet store, dechlorinator.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so continuing with, you can mute from this. All right, so continuing with water quality. All right, so for water quality, the temperature for aquaponics system, the temperature should be around 21 to 31 degrees Celsius. And why this is so is that because the system is a source for living for three organisms. So the tilapia, the vegetable, and the bacteria that live in the system. So for the tilapia, the recommended temperature for them is anywhere between 27 to 29 degrees Celsius, even though some tilapia will survive over 29 up to the water quality is ideal for them over 29, say up to 32. Vegetable, 21 to 26. For the bacteria require temperature is 25 to 31 degrees Celsius. The pH should be maintained between 6.5 to 7.5. This range is tolerable to fish, plant, and the nitrifying bacteria. So that's the pH range for all three organisms to survive in the aquaponics system. Now we look at the nitrogen cycle. So the nitrogen cycle should be fully active so that nitrous ammonias can convert the ammonia or the ammonium from the fish to nitrite. And we have the nitrobacteria, which convert the nitrite to nitrate, which is then used by the plant. Remember, the plant cannot use the ammonia directly, cannot use the nitrite directly. It has to be broken down to a simpler complex compound that it can use, and that is the nitrate. Plant in grow bed take up nitrite as plant nutrients. Hence, the plant reduces the high level of toxicity that flow back to the fish tank. So the plant, as I mentioned before in the previous slide, the plant root remove the nitrite, so it clean the water, and this water is sent back to the fish tank where the fish can live happily. So the water has to be oxygenated, and this is done through constant water movement. So constant water movement is that the water moving from the fish tank through the gravel bed, if it's a media bed, if it's an ebb and flow system you're using, go through the PVC pipe, if you're using a nutrient film, or it remove directly from the plant root. So that is the movement of the water. And then when the water is going back to the tank, the fish tank, in some cases, the water will fall into the fish tank. So the water is constantly being agitated through some process, or it can be agitated through wind movement. Okay. So we look at the nitrogen cycle. So for the nitrogen cycle, we have the fish and the feed using releasing the ammonia or the ammonium. And then we have the nitrous ammonias, which is nitrous ammonias and other bacteria breaking down the ammonia or the ammonium to nitrite. So the nitrite is it's the same thing that we discussed on the first slide, it's just explaining over. The nitrite is broken down by nitrobacteria and other nitrobacter or other bacteria to nitrate. And this nitrate is what is needed by the plant for food and nutrients. So the plant use it, and the water is clean, and this water return back to the fish tank. So we're going to look at some of the best plants to grow in an aquaponics system. These are some of the plants that are selected. There are other plants. So if plants and vegetables, so if you check online, you'll find other one that you can try. But some of them, we have the basil, we have the mint, we have the tomato, cucumber, lettuce, we have red spring onion, green spring onion. We have pepper, beans, squash, peas, broccoli, cauliflower, and cabbage. So these are some of the ones that indicate that can be grown in aquaponics, but I know you have strawberry also, blueberries, but I didn't bring on those as those are most done in Capricola country. So I just pick some of the plants and we're gonna look at them. So for the lettuce to grow in the aquaponics, it have so the average time for it is between 6 to 8 weeks. And they say in aquaponics, the growing difficulty is low. The nutrients need is modest. And the best type of system to use to grow it from the 3 that I mentioned would be any of them. So you can use any other system to grow the lettuce. The water temperature should be 26 degrees Celsius. So you know that you have to have your pH meter that can be used to test water, dissolve oxygen, and temperature. You can get those meters on Amazon. That's where about mine. Also, the pH, as I said, the pH meter, you have a pH meter that tests a temperature and pH at the same time. So the pH for that should be anywhere between 6 to 6.5. For the cabbage, the average time until first harvest is between 8 to 10 weeks. The growing difficulty is low. Nutrients need is high. I mean, it requires a lot of nutrients. The best system is the DWC. And what you can tell us is a DWC system. Anyone know the DWC? What is that?
Deep water culture.
Okay, thank you. I was wondering if it's me alone here. Yeah,
No, it's not you alone.
okay. So the water temperature should be 23 degrees Celsius. pH need to stay around 6.5 to 7. So if you're thinking about doing peas now, the average time for the peas is between 6 to 10 weeks. Growing is medium. The growing difficulty is medium.
Go back home.
Nutrients need is high. The best system for it is a deep water culture. Water temperature 26 degrees Celsius. and the pH level between 6 to 6.7. 6 to 7. The other one is the tomato. Average time until first harvest, 4 to 8 weeks. And this is dependent on the variety growing. The difficulty is medium, nutrients need is high. The best system is a DWC. Most of them is a DWC that I select. And the water temperature is 26 degrees Celsius. pH level need to stay between 6 to 5. For the pepper, the harvest time is 5 to 150 days, depending on the variety. The growing difficulty is low. Nutrients need high. The best system, deep water culture. Water temperature between 26 degrees and the pH 6.0 to 6.5. And the final one is the cucumber. Harvest time 50 to 70 days. Growing is medium. Growing difficulty is medium. The nutrient need is high. Best system, the deep water, the ebb and flow. The temperature 26 degrees. pH need to stay between 5.5 to 6. So you can research a crop that you want to grow and select the one that is best suitable for you. And you can also check the selling price for the crop. I can go on Jamis to see what the prices are like. And then you make a decision as to the one that you want to invest in. So we're selecting a crop, right? We're selecting a crop, and the crop that we're selecting is the lettuce. So the lettuce has been one of the most successful crop around the globe, and it is considered fairly easy to grow. The nutrients requirement is modest. It has a short production cycle of approximately 42 to 50 plus days, and the income that the lettuce will generate is high per unit. I was surprised when I went on Jamis and I see that a pound of lettuce was, and it depending on the variety, was from $1,500 to $990 so a pound, and that was at retail level and wholesale level. However, the farm gate, it was at $550. So some of these are some of the stuff that you need to know before seed or seedlings are planted. We should always check the water quality to ensure that the nitrite load, the nitrite is ideal. The fish should be in tank for over 14 days. So we need to have them in the tank for 14 days before we plant these seedlings, because the fish have to do what they need to do so they can build up the nutrients in the water. And the growing bed are filled with clean gravel if you're using the ebb and flow system. So the gravel that you put inside of it should be clean. If you're putting in sand or any other media, it should be clean. And the nitrifying cycle has to be initiated. Remember, so for this to be initiated, we need to ensure that fish are in the tank 14 days before we start doing the planting, right? So we're going to look at the economic viability for lettuce. So we're using the deep water culture bed system. So if you have a deep water culture bed system and it is 4 feet wide times 8 feet long, and with each raft, remember for that system we use a raft inside of those that is made from styrofoam. So if we put the raft inside of that fish tank, and for the lettuce, based on literature, the lettuce should be planted 7 inches apart. So if we multiply the 4 feet by the 8 feet, based on the space and the 7 inches space between each plant or each seedling, it can produce approximately 55 lettuce. And normally they grow these lettuce up to a pound or something like that. So if we're averaging 1 lettuce at a pound. So therefore, for the deep water culture bed, with measurement of 4 by 8 feet long, can produce the 55 head of lettuce. And if we have 4 of those from say 4 fish tank, we have 4 of those. So each for the total, it could produce 228 of lettuce and each weighing a pound. And normally lettuce take, remember we said the lettuce take between 6 to 8 weeks. And if we divide the 6 to 8 weeks or 6 weeks into 6 months, we could get at least 4 crops. So for the 4 crops times the 220 pounds, we could reap 880 pounds. I remember I mentioned that I went on Jamis last night to actually see the price, what lettuce is selling for currently. So what I got was that at Farm Gate, it is being sold for $550. So if we sell at 880 pounds, we could make $484,000. And that if we're selling Farm Gate. So if we decide to go there and sell our stuff wholesale by ourselves, we could sell it for $990 a pound, and you could make $887 in terms of 6 months selling growing lettuce and selling it. So we're gonna look at we finished with the crop. I see like a crop, we finished with that one. We're gonna look at a fish now. So fish grown in aquaponics. So some of the fish that is grown in aquaponics, we may look at tilapia. So any of the variety of tilapia can be grown in the aquaponics. So I'll select 2. I'll select the Jamaica red and the Nile tilapia. But if you come and you want to buy the Rocky Mountain white, you can purchase that one. You can just purchase any other the variety. They're all tilapia. We can grow the common carp, so you can do the grass carp or the koi. You can do the koi for as a hobby, or you can go to sell it back to the pet industry. You can grow the grass carp to sell it in the pet industry as well as you can grow it for food. A person do consume grass carp. So those are the common carp. For them, we also can grow catfish, and these are the channel catfish and the white catfish. I'm assuming that also the bassa can be growing in the system, but the bassa with the bassa require a lot of space. So the tank system, it won't allow them to grow to their full capacity, but they can be grown inside of it. And the bassa, that's the catfish that we have in Jamaica currently. Any question before I move on? Okay.
Mr. Toff, you mentioned the koi.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I know about them for in terms of ornamental, but I didn't realize that those also could grow to food size.
You can grow the. Remember, I said with the aquaponics system, the fish they really needed to supply the plant nutrients. So you can grow your koi inside of it. You know that the koi they won't go to the maximum capacity, but they will just in the system to provide the nutrients. And the koi, you can sell the koi back into the pet store once they so they can be marketed also.
Okay.
Store. All right, so the tilapia, the fish grown in aquaponics system. So we have the tilapia. And with the tilapia, we have, you know that tilapia, they are originated from Africa and they can grow in a pH range from 0.0 to 8.0, temperature anywhere between 17.1 to 32 degrees Celsius. Sorry, I forgot to put on the Celsius on these.
Yes. So
the catfish, you have they're from North America, pH 6 to 8, temperature 21.1 to 32.2. The common carp, they're from Asia, pH 6.7 to 9, temperature 23 to 30 degrees Celsius. So remember the temperature there in Celsius, right? And not Fahrenheit. All right, so selecting a fish. So the fish that we're selecting is the tilapia, since the tilapia is more dominant in Jamaica, right? So the tilapia is one of the easiest fish to grow because they are hardy and can grow quickly under the right condition. And before stocking tilapia, the following must be met. So Stocking fry or fingerling, the system has to be filled with water and check for leaks. The grow bed are to be filled with clean gravel if you're using the ebb and flow system. The pump or timer has to be in operation for at least 14 days. And the water quality is to be tested to see the fall in ammonium and nitrite level. And we have to ensure that the nitrifying cycle is initiated. So we're going to look at economic viability of tilapia. That's to be fixing my slide, sorry. All right, so say we have an 800-gallon fish tank, and it can grow approximately 400 fish per tank, right? So we should note that a 2 gallon of water, so every 2 gallon of water, you can grow 1 fish. So the system, if the system consists of 4 tanks, there will be a total of 1,600 fish in it, because remember the 800-gallon fish can grow 400 fish, can give you each fish 2 gallons of water. So we divide the 2 into 800 to get the maximum number of fish. So the four tank in total will hold 1,600 fish. Those 1,600 fish will be in the system. And you know that in every population, mortality happens. So we're assuming a 60% survival. So we have 1,600 fish in total at a survival rate of 60%. So at the end of the crop, we should have, just make up. Okay. I'm just going to calculate something.
That would be approximately 1,200 fish. That's a lot of loss.
Right, so I make an error right there on the calculation. So 1,600 times 60%. Just give me a minute, please. Let me just calculate something. All right, so we're saying that the survival is 960, right? You can calculate that for me. All right, so we're assuming that we have a mortality of 640 fish, and the survival 960. Remember, the mortality, it can be lower or it can be higher. So you may not have a 40% mortality. You may have 70% survival, 80% survival. But I'm just working with the industry standard, right? So if you manage your system properly and you ensure that there's no issue or problem, the survival rate can be better. But based on industry standard, I just working at survival at 60%. So we are assuming that we have 960 fish remaining in the tank, in the system. Now, at the end of 6 months, we're assuming that the fish can weigh anywhere between 1 pound, 3/4 pound, or half pound. But I'm just working with 3/4 pound and half pound. So if one fish weighs 0.7 gram or 3/4 pound, so 960 fish, we'll time that by 0.7 to see the amount of pound that you will harvest from the tank. Because remember, fish are sold by the pound, the weight, not by. All right, somebody raise their hand. All right, go ahead.
Can the 1,000-gallon tank raise fish in?
Yeah, it can be.
I was wondering if it is too deep.
No, but
Water tank that you have at home, 1,000 gallons.
yes, it can be. I don't know why I'm not people. All right, you can let me answer the question. All right, so the 1,000-gallon tank, it can be used. But it's just that you just have to work out the capacity of fish that can hold inside of it. So remember I said that, so with the 1,000, what you do, you will cut that tank in half. So once you cut that tongue, you will end up with two pieces, right? You'll end up with the top and the bottom. But in most cases, those tongues, they're sold in half what you can purchase. But if you have it that way where you cut it, you can just make use of both pieces. So you're not growing the fish in the full tank length. It's just half of the tank you're using. Is that okay?
Yes, miss.
Yeah. But it can be used. All right, so I was at like, also you have 960 fish. That's the total amount of fish that you have. But remember, fish, they are sold based on the weight, right? So we're saying that one fish will weigh 3/4 pound. 3/4 pound is 0.7 gram. So we'll times the 700 and we'll times the 760, this 960 by the 0.7 to get the amount of pound that you will get. But sorry, remove the gram from the 0.7, so it's 0.7 pound. So the total pound that you get is 720 pound of fish you will harvest from the 4 tank. Remember, you know, it's 4 tank. If it's harvesting from 1 tank, we'll have to divide the 720 by 4 to get the weight for 1 tank. But from the 4 tank, it will be 720. It can be more, it can be lower. It depends on how you manage your system. So with that now, the 720 pound, you'll times that by $600 because fish at market gate price, the rate is $600. So you should read fish at market gate, but not market rate. But fish at market gate rate is 720, right? Times 600. So you'll get $432,000. So the fish at farm gate, so this is a farm gate price now. At farm gate, fish is sold for $450. So you'll make a profit of $324,000. So the fish market price is different from the farm gate price. So if you want to sell at your farm gate at $450, you can. If you want to go out there and sell it for yourself at the fish market, or you create an area for yourself where you market your fish, you could sell it for $600, or you can even sell your fish for $600 at your location, and just do business where you have your aquaponics and you have your small outlets selling your fish. So if you look at the fish, say for instance, your fish that you harvest from the tank, they're half pound. The half pound weight will give you a lower harvest amount. The 3/4 pound will give you a higher harvest amount. So the 960 times the 0.5, so you'll harvest 480 pound. And that now, the 480 pound, you have 2 prices where you can sell it at. You can sell it at the fish market rate. The fish market rate, which is $600 a pound. You can sell it at the farm gate price, which is $450, and then you will see your return. So at the fish market, you'll make $288. At the farm gate, it will be $216,000. So when you look at it, the eagle will come at the farm to buy the fish from the farmer, and they will put on the markup price when they're selling it back. Oh, so that's the summary. So that's the end of my slide from the tilapia. So we move on to the summary. So aquaponics. So aquaponics is a combination of aquaculture, which is the growing and cultivation of aquatic life, example fish, crayfish, snail, shrimp, and aquatic plant, while the hydroponics is the growing of plant in sand, gravel, liquid, and other media, but without soil. However, we should note that aquaponics system is mainly designed to produce fruit and vegetable as a primary income generator, and fish as a nutrient supporter for the system and a secondary income generator. Is there any question? So that's my reference. Is there any questions? Hello? Or should I ask you guys? I always get I'm getting Khaled?
Yes, dear.
Yes.
Could you go back to the very beginning of the session because I missed out someone in there because my phone was malfunctioning.
I won't be able to.
Will you be sending it on YouTube?
I'd have to with Miss Matnish and the coordinator for the program. All right, so question, which the plant or the fish, which is the nutrients provider, and who is the secondary?
Which is the fish is the nutrients provider.
Right. And which is the primary generator?
I think it's the same fish.
No, the fish is the secondary plant. Let me mute. The fish would be the secondary and the plant would be the primary, since most of the income will come through the plant. That's where you make most of your profit from. Can anyone tell me the three systems that I made mention of?
Deep water, ebb and flow, and nutrient film system.
Okay. All right then. So I'll just close off for now. And then I'll liaison with Ms. Matnish and she will liaison with the coordinator for the 4-H to see how best we can provide the presentations. So thank you. I would like to hand over to Ms. Campbell. Ms. Campbell?
Good morning again. Thank you, Ms. Fairclough.
You're welcome.
Thank you so very much for this presentation.
Sure.
Very informative. I learned a few things I didn't even think of. Maybe would have had it in my mind, but not, thinking about it.
Okay.
But those persons on the platform this morning, I hope you yourself thoroughly enjoy the presentation and the information gleaned will be useful and fruitful in your future endeavors. All right. We haven't set the next date for the next meeting as yet, but Ms. McNish and yourself, Ms. Fairclough, we'll be having a discussion going forward.
Sure.
As to the information and then to set the timing for the assessment for those persons who participated. All right. So I'll be communicating with you following a little later on today.
Okay, then, sure.
Thanks again.
You're welcome.
And great work and keep up the good work. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Mackenzie, we can close it now. Okay? Anybody have any questions that they would like to ask pertaining to the training itself?
Will you be teaching about shrimp?
All right, so the YouTube link will be placed in the relevant groups, so you can look out for the YouTube link. First, you can access the information, this presentation again on YouTube if you want to refresh yourself. All right.
Okay.
So look out for that in your group, WhatsApp groups.
Oh, so
All right, thanks again for being here, everyone, and we'll be communicating with you. Mrs. Paul Reed, we need to talk as well, but I'll call you individually when we're through. All right, thanks again, Ms. Fairclough and Ms. McNish. Really appreciate it. All right, God bless. Thank you, Docs. Oh, somebody has a question, Mrs. Baldry?
Yes, I wanted to know if we could get if I could get a contact
Hello?
number for, can you
She's
hear
talking?
me?
I'm not hearing.
Can you hear me, guys?
If we can,
Okay, I was saying that I would love a contact number
Yeah,
for the presenter on the whole matter of the fish production, because there are a lot of questions about fish farming coming up in the Cape papers, and the added support would be very, very much great for us so that we could get some more information on that.
Okay, you could contact the fisheries department or by Twickenham Park, Mrs. Paul Reed. Mrs. Paul Reed is a Miss
Okay.
McNish, and Miss Fairclough, Miss Paul Reed is a teacher, agricultural teacher at Spanish Town High. So you could understand her need for additional information and give support where possible. But you may contact the office, Mrs. Paul Reed.
also, you can leave a telephone number or come by the office so we can just dialogue about the issues. As it would be a problem for us to assist in the area in the school. So you can just leave a phone number or just call the office 984-9444 and ask, or 9343 and ask Karen or Nadia. Let me see if I can write it in the chat. Okay. So I've placed my telephone number inside the chat. Sorry, the number is not correct. 876 578 3702.